And we advise the county council, we advise the county executive on issues related to women in Montgomery County. And so we also have another commissioner, Britt Hogue, who you're going to hear from, and then we also have staff. Our executive director, Jody Finkelstein, is here. She's over on the side there, and our director of programming, Mercy Wolf. And so welcome today. I'm glad you're here. We also have some other programs that we focus on helping women in the county, like self-defense. We have financial planning. We have divorce and separation seminars, partnering with our Bar Association of Montgomery County. And this program was a career series on, we started with a series with resume writing, interviewing skills, networking, and salary negotiation. And so this is the final session in that series of careers for non-traditional women, or non-traditional careers for women. And so we hope you'll enjoy this session. We're partnering with the Montgomery County Public Library. So I'm going to pass it on over to our Commissioner, Britt Hogue. Great, he's going to take it from there.
Okay, good morning, everyone. Good morning. Thank you for coming out on this sort of misty Saturday morning to learn more about opportunities in various careers here in the county and around the country, I'm sure. I want to just also introduce, we have one new commissioner who's also with us this morning, Monica Ramirez, who is behind the camera.
Nice to meet you.
And so we're all thrilled to have you here, and thank you for spending your time with us. So I'm just going to take a moment and just read through our panelists' bios so that you can hear a little more about sort of their what they do, but then they're going to tell you a lot more about what they do themselves. First, at the far end, farther from me on the left side of the camera, we have Battalion Chief Elizabeth Sanfer. She grew up in Washington, D.C., the middle of 5 children. Her mother was a nurse at GW Hospital, and so they were lucky enough to be able to attend free of charge. She got her BA from GW in 1986, and then 9 years later found her way to Montgomery County Fire. She was hired by Montgomery County Fire and Rescue in January 1995 as the only female member of recruit class number 10. She spent the majority of her time, of her career, at 2 of the busiest stations in the county, Gaithersburg and Lake Forest Mall, right across the street from Rockville Fire Station number 3, and was promoted to her current rank of battalion chief 4 years ago. She's been a single mother for 15 years. Her son is in college, and her daughter is a senior in high school. And we've actually had the pleasure of hearing from her at the commission, and we were just so thrilled to hear about what she does and the intensity of her work that sort of shows up in a lot of different ways that we asked her to join us this morning and share that out with the group. So next we have Dr. Jan Plain. She's the director from the Maryland Center for Women in Computing. So Dr. Jan is the director for the Maryland Center for Women in Computing and associate director for ACES, which is the first undergraduate cybersecurity honors program. She's been a member of the faculty at University of Maryland's Computer Science Department since 1990. And for 15 of those years, she also worked on university computer science capacity building projects in sub-Saharan Africa and Afghanistan. She holds graduate degrees in both computer science and education, and her work focuses on computer science education, which includes curriculum development, pedagogical methods, and underrepresented populations in computing. She encourages both quality of content and access to computing for students in elementary school to graduate school, through teaching, outreach programs, and teacher professional development. So thank you for joining us this morning. Okay, next we have Jeanette Bass from the Apprenticeship Office. She was raised in Boston, Massachusetts, and then moved to the DC, Maryland area, where she had a daughter and attended Morgan State. After finding that college was not for her, she followed one of the family traditions of joining the military. And after completing her contract, returned to Boston, where she worked in the finance industry, doing payroll, bookkeeping, accounts receivable, accounts payable, and from there moved into the retail industry and then into hospitality. So she's worked a number of different industries and currently holds a position as a navigator for the Maryland Apprenticeship and Training Program. And then finally, here next to me is Ms. Naomi Weathers, who is an MBA and the president and CEO of Weathers Engineering Services. She started that company in December 1997, and it's a women-owned engineering, project management, construction management, and technical support consulting firm. Ms. Weathers is an engineering, teaching, business, and management professional with over 33 years of experience, with comprehensive background in engineering design, project and construction management, project inspection, supervising, and multi-departmental program coordination. She has excellent skills in management and planning of complex tasks, and works with diverse groups and adapts to constantly changing environments. So she is here with us also this morning, and thank you for joining us. So to get us started, now that we've heard your bios and heard a little bit about sort of where you are and the work that you do, I'd love for you to just tell us a bit more about that. So if we could just go down the line and in a minute or two, if it's possible, just tell us what a day in your life is like. If there is such a thing. So we'll start at the end.
Okay, so a day in my life right now is vastly different from what a day in my life was for most of my career. So for the first 20 years, I was just a regular firefighter, and rose through the ranks there. So we worked shift work, 24 on, 48 off, and here in Montgomery County, that's who I work for. Just to be clear. So in Montgomery County, all the career firefighters are both firefighters and some form of EMS provider, whether it's a basic life support or paramedic. And your day is essentially whatever the captain tells you it's going to be, which is, hey Beth, today you're going to ride this, tomorrow you're going to ride that, whatever. So it's shift work, 24 on, 48 off. That's what the first about 20 years for me were, which I totally loved, and it was a great match for me, and I can explain more about that as we get into the discussion, if that's helpful at all. In the bio, I identified that I got promoted a number of years ago, about 4 years ago, and that promotion, with that promotion came an administrative assignment. So for the last 4 years, I've been in an administrative role that deals with discipline and labor relations, union. I'm management's representative to the union, so a lot of union interactions and disciplinary interactions with other firefighters. So that's primarily what I do now. So there's just a tiny bit of challenge there.
We talked about raising 2 kids as a single mother too.
Yeah. Well, listen, those skills have come in really handy in this discipline business, right? Totally handy. Like, am I being a mother or am I being a battalion chief? And my kids have said, "Mom, we're not your employees." Well, you kind of are, babe.
Well, a typical day for me is very different because I have so many different positions. So I guess I consider my core part is teaching classes. So I teach cybersecurity classes to college students. But as a director of the Center for Women in Computing, my role most of the time is outreach to K-12. So tomorrow, for example, I have over 100 middle schoolers coming to work on projects because they're part of a 3-year summer camp experience. And so they're coming and they'll be doing robot programming, web page development, and virtual reality development. And so I manage undergraduate students who help all those different groups. So just finished 5th grade last summer, all the way through sophomores in high school. And yeah, to see middle school kids doing things like developing virtual reality on Oculus headsets, it's amazing.
Yeah.
Is where you need to start it.
And so a lot of my time now is, I guess, more like the principal of this program, because I started being the teacher, but now I have so many undergraduates that I manage undergraduates to teach the kids, because that was the only way to scale it. And so I guess I go all the way from teaching elementary or middle school, all the way up through teaching college students and teachers. I do a lot of professional development.
Programs to, whether it's incumbent workers or positions that they're trying to get new people into, where they're also not only training them on the job, but also giving them that schooling certification behind it. And then at the end of their apprenticeship programs, they become certified in that field and they can continue education, but they also hold a job at doing that. So we kind of give them the best of both worlds. Earn while you learn, is what we say. So it's busy for me because I'm always at some job event or employer event. So I like interacting with everybody, giving them, I'm pretty much the info for dollar workforce development.
Good morning. Naomi Weathers, and I am the president and CEO of Weathers Engineering Services Incorporated. And like the partners in Crazy Days crime here on the panel, no day is typical when you're dealing with running a corporation, which is my primary function. My corporation, and I'm a civil sanitary design engineer. My base degree is civil engineering at undergrad, and then MBA in order to run this corporation. And on any given day, I go from designing infrastructures heavily related to your drinking water supply, to your wastewater supply, and to the landfill and landfill management. So my undergrad is City College School of Engineering in New York City, and so they're engineers out in New York. We are allowed to do the engineering part, but we also get heavily involved in construction. So I do a lot of infrastructure engineering, the very things you cannot see. But once it goes out, like our computers, then we recognize that, oh, there's a pipe that did that for me. So I try to help the utilities, the municipalities, not only design system to meet the growth of any urban area, but then you have to maintain it.